When your focus slips, everything else follows. Your attention is your strength. It's your most valuable asset and the key to your future. Every missed opportunity, every abandoned dream began the moment you got distracted. That stops now. In this audiobook, you'll discover how to take back control of your mind, sharpen your focus, and aim it with precision at the life you claim to want. Because if you can't command your focus, you'll never take charge of your outcomes. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Eliminate the noise. Focus fades when you're drowned in noise. Clear thought is impossible when mental clutter takes over. Momentum disappears when every second of your day is hijacked by distractions. That's the silent problem most people ignore. They claim they're exhausted. They complain they've lost motivation. But underneath it all, the truth is simple. They're distracted. They start the day with intention, but finish it wondering where their energy went. Their goals get buried under notifications, meetings, and meaningless scrolling. It's not laziness. It's not lack of talent. It's lack of control. Your attention is being stolen. One notification, one conversation, one browser tab at a time. And every distraction steals momentum. You lose seconds, then minutes, then hours. That's how potential dies. Slowly, quietly, one small interruption after another. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I thought multitasking made me efficient. I'd check email during meetings, text while eating lunch, and browse headlines before bed. It felt productive, but I was getting nowhere. Days were full, results were empty. The moment I started cutting noise, everything changed. That's the key. You can't control time, but you can control what fills it. Let's look at the 5 biggest sources of mental noise and how to eliminate them for good. 1. Social media. Let's start with the most obvious thief of attention. You open an app for a quick check, and 20 minutes vanish. You tell yourself it's harmless, that you're catching up, but deep down, you know what's happening. You're scrolling through someone else's life instead of building your own. Each post triggers comparison. Each comment sparks reaction. Your emotions swing with every scroll. Envy, irritation, distraction. Your focus gets scattered across hundreds of digital fragments that have nothing to do with your goals. You don't need their opinions. You don't need their validation. What you need is space to think. Here's a simple rule. If it doesn't teach, inspire, or directly serve your mission, it doesn't deserve your attention. Delete one app for a week. Watch how quickly your focus returns. You'll be uncomfortable at first. That's withdrawal. That's clarity returning. Remember, every distraction steals momentum. You can't hear your own thoughts when you're addicted to everyone else's noise. 2. Multitasking. Everyone thinks doing more means achieving more. In reality, it means half finishing everything. Multitasking isn't efficiency, it's divided energy. You reply to emails during meetings. You eat while scrolling. You write one sentence, check your phone, then forget what you were doing. You're not moving faster. You're starting over repeatedly. Science backs it up. Each time you switch tasks, your brain resets. That reset costs time, drains focus, and kills creativity. When you focus on one thing, you enter flow. When you split your attention, you cut off depth. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing one thing well. One task. One goal. One block of time. That's how mastery begins. You have a choice. Stay busy or become effective. One builds stress. The other builds results. 3. Overcommitment. Some people are addicted to saying yes. They fill their calendars with meetings, favors, and tasks that don't move them forward. They confuse activity with achievement. If everything matters, nothing does. Every unnecessary commitment steals time from what truly counts. Busyness is not progress. It's avoidance dressed as productivity. You don't need to prove your worth by being everywhere. You don't need to say yes to everyone. Each yes is a contract. Each no is protection. Say yes only to what aligns with your priorities. That's the key to focus. Learning to subtract. Remember, overcommitment kills momentum quietly. You wake up one day realizing you've been working hard, but for goals that aren't even yours. You have a choice. Please everyone or progress towards something that matters. You can't do both. 4. Idle talk. Noise isn't only digital, it's human. The gossip, the complaints, the pointless debates, they all drain energy. You walk away from some conversations feeling lighter. From others, you feel heavy. That's not coincidence. That's energy exchange. Idle talk gives your mind an illusion of connection while robbing it of peace. People who spend their days in gossip have no time left for growth. Every minute you spend defending your ideas to someone who isn't building anything is a minute stolen from your own progress. You don't owe anyone constant access to your attention. Guard your mental space like you guard your money, because it's worth more. You have a choice: participate in noise or protect your energy. Choose the latter. 5. Digital clutter. Finally, the chaos that hides in plain sight. Your devices. Hundreds of open tabs. Cluttered desktops. Full inboxes. You might think it's harmless, but it's not. Your brain craves order. Each file, notification, or unsorted document creates mental friction. It pulls your attention toward the unfinished and the unorganized. Decluttering isn't decoration, it's discipline. Clean one folder. Unsubscribe from junk. Delete what no longer serves you. When your environment is clear, your focus sharpens. Remember, your physical and digital space reflect your mental state. You can't operate with precision if your tools are in chaos. That's the key. The modern world rewards distraction, but focus has always been the difference between average and exceptional. Noise is the enemy of growth. Every distraction steals momentum. Every unnecessary commitment, every endless scroll, every meaningless conversation is a withdrawal from your potential. You have a choice. Stay available to everything or become intentional about something. You can't build clarity in a storm of interruptions. Start small. Do your distraction audit. For one day, notice every time your focus breaks, every time you reach for your phone, check an email, or get pulled off task. Write it down. At the end of the day, circle the worst offenders. Tomorrow, remove one, then another. You'll feel the difference almost immediately. That's how control returns. One deliberate subtraction at a time. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. Each decision to remove noise strengthens the muscle of focus. The quieter your world becomes, the louder your ambition sounds. When the noise fades, clarity appears. And once you see clearly, you can't go back. You've eliminated the noise. You created space for clarity to enter. Now it's time to use that silence to define exactly what you want and why it matters. Because focus without direction is still chaos. You've cleared your mind. Now let's sharpen it. Chapter 2. Clarity creates power. Clarity is the starting line of all progress. Without it, effort is wasted. Energy scatters. Time slips. Goals blur. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because they don't know exactly what they are aiming for. They wake up with good intentions, but no direction. So they move, but they don't advance. They hustle, but they don't build. Focus without clarity is motion without meaning. And motion without meaning leads to burnout. I once coached a young entrepreneur who worked 16-hour days. He was exhausted, proud of how busy he was. But when I asked him to tell me his top 3 goals, he froze. He couldn't answer. He was working hard, but not smart. That's when it hit him. Effort doesn't equal progress. Clarity does. Unclear minds chase everything and achieve nothing. That's the key. 1. Scattered effort destroys progress. Every day you make 1,000 small choices. Each one takes a little of your attention. When you don't know what matters most, you spread your focus across too many things. That's how dreams die. Not in one big failure, but through a slow leak of energy. Most people treat their time like a flashlight. They shine a dim light in every direction, hoping to see more. But control doesn't come from spreading effort. It comes from concentration. A laser doesn't have more light than a flashlight. It's just focused light. Precise, deliberate, controlled. That's the difference between people who try everything and people who master something. Same energy, different control. Clarity gives you control. It gives every action meaning. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. You don't need to do more. You need to do less with precision. Because until you define your target, every shot is wasted. Unclear minds chase everything and achieve nothing. Say it again. Feel it. Because that's the trap that kills potential. 2. How unclear goals drain focus. When you lack clarity, your brain fills the gap with noise. You chase the next opportunity, the next idea, the next distraction. You tell yourself you're being productive, but deep down, you know you're drifting. Distraction hides in disguise. Sometimes it looks like learning. Sometimes it looks like planning. But if it doesn't move you closer to your goal, it's a detour. You have a choice. Define your path or be pulled into someone else's. That's how most people lose themselves. They follow trends, not truth. Clarity doesn't come from thinking about everything. It comes from deciding what doesn't belong. You don't need to find more answers. You need to ask better questions. That's the key. 3. The 3-question exercise. Let's cut through the fog right now. Grab a notebook. Open a blank page. You're about to give your focus direction. Ask yourself 3 questions, and don't move on until you've answered each one honestly. Question 1. What do you want? Be specific. Not success. Not happiness. Those words mean nothing until you define them. What kind of success? In what area? By when? If you can't describe your goal clearly, you don't have one. You have a wish. And wishes don't create results. Clarity does. When you define what you want, your mind organizes around it. You stop wandering. You start executing. That's the first step toward control. Question 2. Why do you want it? Motivation fades when the reason is shallow. If your why is based on approval, status, or comparison, it will collapse under pressure. You'll quit the moment it gets hard. But when your why is rooted in purpose, you'll push through anything. You'll sacrifice comfort because you know what it's for. That's what separates dabblers from achievers. You don't need inspiration. You need a reason that matters. When your why is strong enough, the how becomes obvious. Question 3. What will you give up to get it? Every goal comes with a price tag. You can't hold on to everything and still move forward. You'll have to trade something. Comfort, time, convenience or approval. This is where people hesitate. They want clarity but not commitment. They want success but without sacrifice. You have a choice: give up the distractions that drain you, or give up the dreams that drive you. One will die, your comfort or your potential. That's the moment clarity becomes real. When you decide what you're willing to lose, your goals stop being ideas and start becoming priorities. Unclear minds chase everything and achieve nothing. Say it again. Write it down. Let it remind you every time you feel pulled in a dozen directions. Because clarity is the filter that keeps your energy pure. It's how you protect your time, your focus, and your results. Clarity isn't luck. It's leadership of the mind. It means knowing what matters most and cutting away everything that doesn't. Every distraction you remove sharpens your vision. Every decision you make in alignment builds power. When you're clear, hesitation disappears. When you're clear, energy returns. When you're clear, you stop chasing everything and start achieving something. That's the key. It's not about doing more. It's about knowing what deserves your effort. You don't need anyone's permission to focus on what matters. You only need courage to decide. Because when you decide, clarity turns into action. And action backed by clarity is unstoppable. Unclear minds chase everything and achieve nothing. But focused minds create results that last. You have a choice: stay busy or get clear. Only one builds a life that means something. You've defined your path. You know what you want, why you want it, and what you'll give up for it. But clarity without commitment is still a weakness. It's time to take that focus and make a decision you can't back away from. Because the moment you decide, direction becomes destiny. Chapter 3. Decide or drift. Indecision is the quiet killer of success. It doesn't scream. It doesn't crash. It just delays. And delay is where focus goes to die. Every maybe drains energy. Every "I'll think about it" steals momentum. Every someday builds a wall between you and progress. You can't lead your life from the middle. You can't move forward while standing still. You either commit or you drift. There is no neutral. People tell themselves they're waiting for clarity, waiting for signs, waiting for confidence. But what they're really doing is avoiding risk. They're protecting comfort disguised as strategy. That's the truth no one likes to face. You either decide or life decides for you. That's the key. 1. Focus dies in indecision. Indecision creates anxiety because it keeps your mind in limbo. You're thinking, but not acting. You're analyzing, but not advancing. Your brain burns energy on unfinished decisions the same way your computer drains power from background tabs. You stay busy, but nothing changes. Every time you hesitate, your confidence weakens. Every delay trains your brain to avoid discomfort. You start mistaking overthinking for preparation. You tell yourself, "I'm not ready." But readiness doesn't come before the decision. It comes after. Action builds readiness. Waiting builds doubt. You have a choice: decide or drift. Because every decision you postpone becomes a decision made for you, by time, by chance, or by someone else. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be committed. You don't need more certainty. You need more courage. You either decide or life decides for you. That's not motivational fluff. That's reality. 2. Real-world story, the 90-day rule. Let me give you a real example. A few years ago, I met an entrepreneur named Alex. Smart, creative, driven, but stuck. He had 5 business ideas and couldn't choose one. He kept researching, making spreadsheets, tweaking logos, reading articles about productivity. From the outside, it looked like progress. In truth, it was paralysis. He was doing everything except deciding. I asked him a question that changed everything. If you could only pursue one goal for the next 90 days, what would it be? He hesitated, then picked one idea, a small subscription service he'd been avoiding because it felt too simple. We set one rule: no switching for 90 days, no new ideas, no pivots, no debates. The first week he felt restless. He missed the comfort of options. But by week 3, something shifted. Without the noise of constant decision-making, he entered flow. He stopped guessing and started building. By the end of 90 days, he didn't just have progress. He had a profitable business, a team of 2, and clarity about what worked. He didn't need more ideas. He needed a decision. You don't grow by keeping your options open. You grow by choosing one and making it work. That's the power of focus through decision. Uncertainty shrinks the moment you move. The longer you stand still, the bigger fear becomes. You either decide or life decides for you. 3. The psychology of decision. Here's what most people don't realize. Indecision is a habit. It's not something that happens once. It's something you practice. And like any habit, it grows stronger the more you feed it. Every small decision you avoid teaches your brain that inaction is safe. Every delayed choice becomes a signal. Don't commit. Wait for proof. But proof never comes before commitment. Clarity follows action, not the other way around. When you make a decision, you create movement, and movement reveals what's real. You can't steer a parked car. You can only adjust once you're in motion. That's the key. Don't chase perfect decisions. Chase decisive momentum. Here's a method that works. The 24-hour rule. If a decision has clear pros and cons, give yourself 24 hours to analyze it. After that, decide. No revisiting, no rethinking, no second guessing. You'll be surprised how freeing it feels to commit. You don't need certainty. You need direction. And direction only comes from decision. You either decide or life decides for you. Every maybe is a leak in your energy. Every delay is momentum lost. And momentum is what separates achievers from dreamers. When you decide, your brain shifts from hesitation to execution. You stop thinking in circles. You start moving in lines. You stop wondering. You start building. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing. You don't need guarantees. You need commitment. Decision is power. Indecision is paralysis. You can live in control, or you can live in reaction. You can lead your life, or you can let life lead you. You have a choice. You either decide or life decides for you. Decide to move. Decide to act. Decide to focus. Because indecision is the slowest form of failure. You've learned the cost of hesitation. You've seen how decisions give direction. Now it's time to protect that direction with discipline. Because even a powerful decision is useless if you can't maintain focus once you start. You've chosen your path. Now you must defend it. Chapter 4. Protect the zone. There's a place where progress happens faster, smoother, cleaner. A place where time bends and distractions disappear. That place is called the zone. The zone is deep, uninterrupted mental engagement. It's when you're locked in. No noise, no hesitation, no wasted motion. Your brain, your body, your focus, they all move in sync. Every major breakthrough, every great performance, every creative leap happens there. But here's the truth. Most people miss. The zone isn't luck. It's not magic. It's built. And once you find it, you have to protect it. Guard your zone like your life depends on it, because your goals do. That's the key. 1. The power of the zone. When you enter the zone, your entire mental state changes. Noise fades. Clarity rises. Doubt stops talking. And execution takes over. Scientists call it flow. Athletes call it being in rhythm. Writers call it the state. Whatever you call it, it's where excellence lives. You've felt it before. That moment when you're working and hours pass like minutes. That's not coincidence. That's immersion. In the zone, you don't think about the outcome. You become the process. Your brain releases dopamine and norepinephrine, sharpening attention and decision speed. You stop trying. You start doing. But here's the catch. The zone doesn't appear randomly. It demands conditions. And once you have them, you must defend them fiercely. Guard your zone like your life depends on it, because your goals do. 2. How people destroy their own zone. Most people never reach deep focus because they sabotage it. They check their phone. They reply to emails mid-task. They break their rhythm every 10 minutes and call it multitasking. Every interruption resets your focus clock. It takes your brain 20 minutes to recover from a single distraction. Think about that. Every text, every alert, every quick check costs 20 minutes of deep work. That's why you feel busy but empty at the end of the day. Your mind never gets a chance to drop into depth. You can't live in the zone if you keep opening the door to interruptions. You either build barriers or you lose your edge. It's that simple. This isn't about being strict. It's about survival. Your goals depend on consistent immersion, not occasional effort. Guard your zone like your life depends on it, because your goals do. 3. Build rituals to protect it. Discipline creates focus. Focus creates the zone. If you want consistent performance, you must create a ritual that signals your brain. It's time to work. 3 things matter. Same time, same place, same signal, same time. Train your brain to expect focus at a certain hour every day. Consistency turns effort into automation. The more predictable your schedule, the faster you drop into deep concentration. You don't negotiate with focus, you schedule it. Same place. Environment triggers mindset. When you use one space only for focused work, your brain connects that space to productivity. Keep distractions out. Keep tools ready. Make it sacred. When you enter that space, it's game time. Same signal. This is your mental switch. Maybe it's putting on headphones, lighting a candle, or playing instrumental music. Whatever it is, use it every time. That repetition tells your brain, distractions off, focus on. These rituals aren't routines, they're armor. They protect the zone from chaos. They turn focus from effort into identity. You don't need motivation when your ritual takes over. Your body and mind align automatically. That's the secret of high performers. They don't wait to feel ready. They build readiness into habit. Guard your zone like your life depends on it because your goals do. 4. Real-world application. Let's make this real. A writer I know wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. Same chair, same coffee, same playlist. No phone, no email. By 7 a.m., he's written more than most people do all week. Why? Because he protects his zone. His brain knows that from 5 to 7, there's only one job. Write. A professional athlete I trained used a similar approach. Before every practice, same warm-up, same stretch, same breathing count. That ritual told his body it was time to lock in. By the time he started training, his mind was already there. You don't need a perfect system. You need a consistent trigger that tells your brain it's time to focus. The zone rewards consistency. Distractions reward chaos. You have a choice which one you live in. Conclusion. The zone is sacred ground. It's where excellence lives and progress multiplies. You don't stumble into it. You enter it with discipline. When you're in the zone, fear fades, time stretches, and confidence grows. That's why you must protect it from everything that pulls you away. Guard your zone like your life depends on it, because your goals do. That's not a metaphor. It's a rule. Every interruption is an enemy. Every distraction is a thief. You built clarity in the last chapter. Now this is where you defend it. Focus isn't something you find. It's something you fight for daily. The zone is your battlefield and your advantage. You have a choice. Protect your focus or surrender it. Every time you choose protection, you grow stronger. Every time you let distractions win, you lose momentum. Remember, your future is built in those hours of deep, uninterrupted work. Guard your zone like your life depends on it, because your goals do. You built the zone. You learned to protect it, but energy doesn't stay constant. It follows your attention. And if you don't direct that energy with intention, it leaks away. Now that your focus is locked in, it's time to learn how to channel your energy toward progress and purpose. Chapter 5. Energy follows attention. Your energy doesn't disappear. It gets redirected. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak is fuel. The question is, where are you sending it? You already know this truth, even if you've ignored it. When you focus on problems, they grow heavier. When you focus on progress, it accelerates. That's not coincidence. That's law. Energy rises where focus goes. Whatever you feed with attention expands. Most people drain themselves not because they lack energy, but because they spend it in the wrong places. They waste emotional power on complaints, drama, and comparison. They fight battles that don't matter and wonder why they're exhausted. You have a limited tank of energy every day. If you give it to distraction, you'll have nothing left for discipline. If you give it to frustration, you'll have nothing left for progress. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. That's the key. 1. Energy rises. Where focus goes. Think about it. You wake up and instantly reach for your phone. Within 2 minutes, you've seen bad news, other people's opinions, and messages that pull your emotions in 10 directions. You haven't even started your day, and already your energy's fractured. Your attention is currency. Every click, every scroll, every reaction is a transaction. You're paying attention. But what are you buying with it? You say you're tired. You say you're burned out. But exhaustion doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing too much of what doesn't matter. That's why people who focus with purpose seem unstoppable. They use the same 24 hours, but they direct their energy like a laser. Their mind isn't a battlefield. It's a command center. When you learn to master where your focus goes, your energy multiplies. When you don't, your energy divides and disappears. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. 2. How energy gets wasted. Let's be honest. Most energy is lost in emotional noise. People drain themselves with what-ifs, with overthinking, with gossip and resentment. They react to everything instead of directing anything. You argue about things that won't matter in a week. You replay conversations that already ended. You focus on who's wrong instead of what's next. That's how power leaks out. Slowly, invisibly, day after day. You don't lose energy because life is hard. You lose energy because you're feeding weakness. Every complaint is energy pointed backward. Every argument is focus wasted on ego. Every comparison is an invitation to insecurity. You have a choice. Feed your strength or feed your weakness. You can't do both. Here's the truth. Life doesn't take your power. You give it away. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you're handing over energy that belongs to your goals. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. 3. Channeling energy like an athlete. High performers understand this. Watch an elite athlete before competition. They don't scroll their phone. They don't chat mindlessly. They breathe. They visualize. They control their state. That's not superstition. It's mental engineering. They're aligning their attention with their intention. They're directing energy into performance, not noise. You must do the same mentally. You don't need a stadium to do it. You need awareness. Before you start your work, your meeting, your project, pause. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow breaths. Decide what deserves your focus right now. Say it out loud if you have to. This is where my energy goes today. Repeat it until you feel grounded. That small ritual changes everything. Because now your mind knows who's in charge. You are. When your attention is intentional, your energy becomes predictable. And predictable energy builds consistent results. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. 4. The law of emotional economy. You can't separate focus from emotion. Whatever you think about most, you start to feel. And whatever you feel most, you begin to act on. That's why guarding your attention is emotional self-defense. If you focus on problems, you feel powerless. If you focus on possibilities, you feel strong. It's not fake positivity. It's energy management. Winners don't ignore reality. They refuse to energize fear. They use emotion as a tool, not a trap. You can train yourself to do the same. When frustration hits, shift your question. Don't ask, well, why is this happening to me? Ask, what's this teaching me? The first question drains energy. The second one redirects it. That's the key difference between reactive people and focused performers. You have a choice. React or redirect. Waste energy or invest it. Energy follows attention. Always. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. Conclusion. Every day you decide where your energy goes. That decision shapes your results more than talent or luck ever will. If you focus on problems, they expand. If you focus on progress, it compounds. That's not motivation, it's physics. Your energy follows your attention. Wherever your focus goes, your future grows. So ask yourself right now, are you feeding your weakness or your strength? Are you energizing excuses or execution? Are you reacting to life or directing it? You don't need more hours. You need better focus. You don't need more motivation. You need to stop leaking energy on things that don't matter. Every complaint, every distraction, every argument, cut it off. That's not who you are anymore. Your power is too valuable to waste. Guard it. Direct it. Command it. Because your energy is your edge, and your attention controls it. Stop feeding weakness with your focus. Feed your goals instead. You've learned where your energy comes from and where it leaks away. Now it's time to make the next critical move, protecting that energy by mastering your boundaries. Because if you don't learn to say no, the world will drain you dry. You built energy, now you must preserve it. Chapter 6. The Discipline of Saying No. Every yes costs something. Every time you agree to something unimportant, you steal time from what truly matters. Most people don't lose focus because they're lazy. They lose focus because they're too agreeable. You've been taught that saying yes makes you helpful, kind, cooperative. But in reality, it makes you scattered, exhausted, and resentful. You can't build greatness if you keep giving away your energy to things that don't move you forward. Every yes is a trade. You give up a piece of your attention, your schedule, your peace. The question is, are you trading for progress or for approval? You have to understand this. Saying no is not rejection, it's protection. It's not rude, it's responsible. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus. That's the key. 1. Every yes steals time from your priorities. Every hour of your life is a currency you'll never get back. When you say yes to everything, you declare bankruptcy on your time. You say yes to meetings that don't need you. You say yes to people who drain you. You say yes to projects that don't align with your mission. Then you wonder why your goals feel distant and your energy feels thin. It's because your calendar belongs to everyone but you. Every yes is permission for someone else to spend your life, and most of them will, without hesitation. You can't focus if your day is filled with obligations that don't matter. You can't prioritize your future if you keep surrendering to other people's urgency. Here's the truth. You don't need to do more. You need to protect what matters most. And protection starts with a single word: no. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus. 2. The guilt trap. The reason most people can't say no is guilt. You worry about disappointing others. You worry about being misunderstood. You confuse being needed with being valuable. But guilt is not a sign of doing wrong. It's a sign of breaking habit. You've been conditioned to equate saying no with being difficult. That's not maturity. That's manipulation. You don't owe everyone your time. You owe your best self to what deserves your energy. Here's how you break the guilt cycle. Reframe your no as respect. When you decline something that doesn't align with your goals, you're not rejecting someone. You're honoring your mission. You're protecting your best energy for the things and people that truly matter. Think about it. Would you rather give 10 people 10% of you, or give one purpose 100% of you? That's the difference between dilution and domination. No is not the enemy. Distraction is. And distraction often wears the face of opportunity. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus. 3. How to say no without guilt. Let's make this practical. There's an art to saying no firmly but respectfully. Here's how you do it without apology or tension. Step 1. Be clear. Don't over-explain, don't lie. A vague maybe keeps you trapped in obligation. A direct no thank you frees both you and them. Clarity is kindness. Step 2. Offer gratitude, not excuses. You can say, I appreciate the offer, but I can't commit right now. That's enough. You don't need to justify your priorities. Your time doesn't require permission slips. Step 3. Anchor your no to a bigger yes. Remind yourself and others what you're protecting. I'm focusing on a key project right now. I'm preserving time for family. I'm simplifying my schedule to stay effective. Every no to distraction is a yes to direction. You have a choice. Please people or progress in purpose. But you can't do both. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus. 4. The power of boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls. They're filters. They don't isolate you. They define you. They clarify what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Without boundaries, you become reactive. You live in other people's priorities instead of your own. Your goals dissolve into obligations. With boundaries, you create rhythm. You create space for deep work, rest, reflection, and growth. You stop saying yes out of guilt and start saying yes out of alignment. That's discipline. That's maturity. That's freedom. Every successful person you admire has mastered this. They don't say yes to everything. They say yes selectively, because they understand this rule. Focus requires friction. You will disappoint others. You will lose some approval. But you will gain control. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus. Conclusion. Every yes has a cost. Every no has a reward. The more you protect your energy, the more power you reclaim. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be effective somewhere. You don't need to please everyone. You need to fulfill your mission. You don't need to explain your priorities. You need to honor them. This is the discipline of saying no. It's not rejection, it's direction. It's how you keep your calendar aligned with your purpose. So stop apologizing for protecting your focus. Stop feeling guilty for defending your goals. You owe no one access to your time except your future. No is a boundary. Boundaries create focus, and focus creates freedom. You have a choice. Say yes to everyone and lose yourself, or say no with confidence and find control. Because every time you say no to the wrong thing, you say yes to the right one. Guard your time, respect your purpose, and let every no build the space for your next breakthrough. You've learned to say no to protect your time, your peace, your priorities. Now it's time to take that discipline even deeper, because focus doesn't just depend on boundaries, it depends on training. You protected your energy. Now you'll learn how to strengthen it. Chapter 7. Train your attention like a muscle. Attention isn't a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, it's built through training. You weren't born focused. You were born curious, reactive, easily distracted. The world around you made that worse. Notifications, noise, endless scrolling. Now you live in an environment that rewards short attention and punishes depth. That's why most people can't sit still long enough to think deeply, read completely, or finish what they start. They've trained distraction, not focus. You can't outwork distraction. You have to out-train it. You have to build focus like you build muscle, through repetition, consistency, and pressure. Every time you hold your attention a little longer, you're doing a rep. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone, you're building strength. Every moment you stay in silence instead of searching for stimulation, you're expanding capacity. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. That's the key. 1. Attention isn't natural. It's trained. Think of attention like a muscle in your mind. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you push it, it grows. The reason most people struggle to focus isn't because they're broken. It's because they've never trained. They expect focus to appear on demand, like flipping a switch. But focus is earned through repetition, not intention. You wouldn't walk into a gym after years of inactivity and expect to lift heavy weight. Yet you expect your mind to carry the weight of long concentration after years of digital distraction. That's not how strength works. If you want mental endurance, you must practice it daily. Short, consistent sessions of focus outperform long bursts of forced effort. Because training isn't about intensity, it's about frequency. Every time you practice attention, you build a foundation for mastery. You're conditioning your brain to stay longer in discomfort, deeper in thought, steadier in purpose. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. 2. Focus reps. Practical examples. Let's make this real. Think of each act of sustained attention as a workout rep. Example 1. Reading 10 pages without checking your phone. It sounds simple, but it's rare. Most people can't go 5 minutes without grabbing for their device. When you train yourself to stay with one task, one story, one paragraph, you strengthen the mental muscle of presence. Start small. 10 pages today. 15 next week. Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency. Every completed page without distraction is one mental rep. Example 2. Working 30 minutes in silence. No music, no background noise, no notifications. Just you and the task. At first it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will wander. That's normal. But stay with it. You're not just completing work. You're conditioning endurance. You're teaching your brain that silence isn't empty. It's strength. That's where the zone lives. That's where deep work begins. Every minute you hold your focus is a rep, and every rep compounds into control. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. 3. Building a focus routine. Just like a workout, focus training requires structure. You don't go to the gym without a plan. You shouldn't approach your attention any differently. Start with a simple structure called focus blocks. Pick one task. Set a timer for 25 to 30 minutes. Remove all distractions. Work until the timer ends. When the timer goes off, take a short break. That's one set. Do 3 to 4 sets daily. Over time, you'll extend both your focus and your stamina. At first, it's hard. You'll want to quit halfway. But that discomfort is progress. Just like sore muscles mean growth, mental resistance means you're building strength. You don't need motivation to focus. You need discipline to train. Because every time you stay locked in, your brain rewires itself for longer, deeper concentration. Neural pathways strengthen the same way muscles do, through repetition and recovery. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. 4. The reward of consistent training. Something powerful happens when you focus your daily practice. Your attention sharpens. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Distractions lose their grip because your mental muscle is stronger. You start to notice what others miss. You make cleaner decisions. You work less but achieve more. That's not luck. That's training. The best performers in every field, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, share one trait. They train their attention. They don't rely on willpower. They build systems. They don't chase motivation. They build habits. You have the same capacity. Your focus isn't broken. It's underdeveloped. And what's underdeveloped can be trained. Remember, every rep counts. Every moment of intentional focus is building the foundation of mastery. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. Conclusion. Focus isn't a gift. It's a discipline. And like every discipline, it rewards the consistent, not the casual. The goal isn't perfection. It's progression. If you focus 1 minute longer today than you did yesterday, you're getting stronger. If you can work with fewer distractions this week than last, you're winning. Your mind is your gym. Your attention is the muscle. And every decision to stay present is a rep that builds power. You don't need endless hours. You need consistent reps. You don't need talent. You need training. Because training turns ordinary focus into extraordinary results. So the next time your phone buzzes or your thoughts wander, pause. Remind yourself, this is my rep. This is how mastery is built. Reps build focus. Focus builds mastery. Say it until it sticks. You have a choice. Feed distraction and stay weak, or train attention and build power. Your focus determines your future. Start training it today. You've built strength in your attention. You've learned to stay longer, think deeper, and resist noise. Now it's time to put that power to work. by mastering the art of single tasking. Because true focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing one thing completely. Chapter 8. Master Single Tasking. Multitasking is a lie. It doesn't make you faster. It makes you sloppy. It doesn't show skill. It shows lack of control. We live in a world obsessed with doing everything at once. Emails while eating, meetings while texting, thinking while scrolling. But every time you split your attention, you weaken it. Every switch steals power from your focus. Every interruption drains your mental battery. You think you're being productive, but you're just busy. You think you're saving time, but you're losing it. The truth is simple. Your brain cannot fully focus on two complex tasks at the same time. When you try, it doesn't multitask. It switch tasks. And switching has a cost. The research is clear. Constant switching cuts productivity by up to 40%. That means 2 hours of fractured focus equals barely 1 hour of true work. You're losing half your effectiveness every day because you can't stay with one thing long enough to finish it. One task, one target, full force. That's the key. 1. Destroy the myth of multitasking. Let's start with the truth about how your brain works. When you move from one task to another, your brain doesn't instantly shift. It takes time, sometimes seconds, sometimes minutes, to reorient itself to the new task. That's called cognitive switching cost. Each time you switch, your brain dumps one context and loads another. Like a computer opening too many programs, it slows down. Memory fragments, focus weakens, mistakes multiply. You lose clarity because your mind is constantly rebooting, and those reboots add up. A study from the University of California found that after each interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds for a worker to return to full focus. 23 minutes per distraction. Multiply that by the number of times you check your phone, email, or messages, and you'll see why your days feel shorter and your results thinner. That's not bad luck. That's poor focus hygiene. Multitasking isn't mastery. It's fragmentation. You don't need to do more. You need to do one thing completely. One task. One target. Full force. 2. The real cost of fragmented focus. Let's look deeper. Imagine a software developer writing code. They're in deep concentration, problem-solving line by line. Then a message pops up. Quick question, can you check this? They answer. Then they come back to their work. But they've lost the thread. They scroll, reread, think. It takes 20 minutes to re-enter flow. Multiply that by 10 interruptions a day. Over 3 hours of lost deep focus. That's half a workday gone to context switching. Now apply that to your own life. Every time you switch from your main goal to something trivial, you're losing traction. You're paying an invisible tax on your attention. People don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never give one thing their full force. You can't build excellence part-time. You can't build mastery while distracted. You can't finish strong if you're constantly starting over. The greatest performers, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs share one habit: extreme concentration. They live by the rule of one. One task, one target, full force. 3. The single tasking blueprint. So how do you break the multitasking addiction? You build a system that trains your mind to work in one direction at a time. Step 1. Define your target. Before you start any task, ask, what exactly am I trying to complete? Write it down. One objective per session. Don't move on until it's finished. This is your anchor. Step 2. Eliminate all potential switches. Silence notifications. Close extra tabs. Put your phone in another room. Don't rely on willpower. Remove temptation. Focus is easier when distraction isn't an option. Step 3. Use focused time blocks. Set a timer for 45 to 60 minutes. Work on one task without exception until the timer ends. When it does, take a short break. Then reset and repeat. This method forces you to concentrate deeply, and over time your focus muscles strengthen. Step 4. Track your results. Notice how much more you finish when you stay single-tasked. You'll see cleaner work, fewer errors, and more energy at the end of the day. That's progress you can measure. One task, one target, full force. 4. Mental discipline, the real challenge. The hardest part of single tasking isn't external. It's internal. Your brain craves novelty. It wants the quick hit of switching to something new. That's dopamine talking. You must learn to override that urge. Each time you resist switching, you're strengthening mental discipline. Each time you stay on one path, you're training focus under pressure. It won't feel easy at first. You'll feel restless, distracted, even bored. That's your old wiring fighting back. Stay with it anyway. Discipline is built through discomfort. Focus grows through resistance. Every moment you choose depth over distraction, you're reprogramming your mind for excellence. That's why single tasking isn't just a productivity hack. It's a mindset. It says, I do one thing at a time, but I do it with everything I have. One task, one target, full force. Conclusion. Multitasking is the illusion of progress. It feels productive, but it's a trap. Every switch steals seconds. Every interruption drains energy. Every distraction delays mastery. When you single task, you reclaim control. You work cleaner. You think clearer. You finish stronger. You can't control how much time you have, but you can control how deeply you use it. And depth is where results live. You don't need more hours. You need more presence. You don't need to do more things. You need to do fewer things better. This is the discipline of single tasking, complete attention, total commitment, full execution. Remember the rule: one task, one target, full force. Say it again until it becomes instinct. You have a choice. Scatter your power across 100 things or channel it into one that matters. Because the difference between average and exceptional is focus. And focus means doing one thing like it's the only thing. You've mastered focus in the moment. You learn to commit all your energy to one task at a time. But focus is tested most when pressure hits. Because the real challenge isn't staying focused when things are calm. It's staying focused when everything around you falls apart. Now, it's time to learn how to perform under pressure without breaking. Chapter 9. Focus under pressure. Pressure reveals truth. When everything falls apart, your real level of focus shows. Anyone can stay sharp when conditions are perfect. When chaos hits, when plans collapse, when everything feels urgent, that's when discipline is tested. You've seen it before. Two people face the same storm. One stays calm, executes, and adapts. The other freezes, panics, and collapses. The difference isn't talent, it's preparation. The best don't rise to the occasion. They fall back on their training. That's the power of mental anchoring. It's how you control your state when the world tries to control you. It's how you breathe through chaos instead of breaking under it. Pressure doesn't break focus. Lack of preparation does. That's the key. 1. The nature of pressure. Pressure exposes habits. It magnifies whatever you've practiced. If you train distraction, pressure makes you scattered. If you've trained composure, pressure makes you precise. When tension builds, your body reacts first. Faster heartbeat, shorter breaths, tunnel vision. That's biology. It's survival mode. But focus lives beyond instinct. Focus is learned control. You can't control the chaos outside. You can control the calm inside. That's what high performers do differently. They train themselves to return to center fast. Pressure doesn't break focus. Lack of preparation does. 2. Mental anchoring. How to recenter. Mental anchoring is your tool for staying grounded under stress. It's not theory, it's training. Step 1. Breathe. When stress spikes, your breathing shortens and your body tenses. That reaction limits oxygen and kills clarity. Counter it with slow, deliberate breathing. Deep inhale, full exhale. In through the nose for 4 counts, out for 6. Do this 3 times. You'll feel control return to your body, then to your mind. Step 2. Visualize. Don't focus on what's collapsing. Focus on execution. Picture the next step, not the entire problem. See yourself doing it calmly, cleanly, correctly. Visualization reprograms panic into precision. When your mind sees success, your body follows. Step 3. Recenter. Bring your focus back to the present moment. Ask yourself, what matters right now? Not in 5 minutes, not in 5 hours. Right now. Pressure tries to pull you into the future. Focus pulls you back to now. When you're in the present, decisions get clear and fear loses power. This 3-step anchor, breathe, visualize, recenter, is your reset switch. Use it anywhere. Before a meeting, during a crisis, in the middle of chaos. It takes less than a minute, but it can save hours of damage. Pressure doesn't break focus. Lack of preparation does. 3. Lessons from the field. Think about elite soldiers in battle. Bullets flying, noise everywhere, chaos all around. And yet they move with precision. They're not fearless. They're trained. Every motion, every breath, every command is practiced until it's automatic. When chaos erupts, they don't panic. They breathe. They anchor. They execute. Because they've done it 1,000 times before. Or look at top athletes. Seconds left in the game. The crowd screaming. The score tied. The average player tightens up. The great one slows down. They've rehearsed pressure in their minds so many times that when the moment arrives, it feels familiar. Michael Jordan once said, "I never feared missing a shot. I feared not preparing for it." That's what mental training does. It removes fear because you've already lived the moment in your head. Pressure doesn't break focus. Lack of preparation does. 4. Building your own pressure routine. You can train your own response the same way. Pressure doesn't go away. You just get better at handling it. Start with small stress tests. Work under mild time limits. Present to small groups. Handle small problems calmly. Each time, practice your breathing. Practice your recentering. You're not training for calm days. You're training for chaos. Then simulate the real thing. Before big meetings, visualize every possible scenario. Before performance moments, interviews, presentations, negotiations, walk through the steps in your head. When stress hits, it won't catch you by surprise. Preparation builds confidence. Confidence builds control. And control creates focus under fire. The key is consistency. If you only practice calm when life is peaceful, you'll panic when it isn't. But if you rehearse control daily, stress becomes your environment, not your enemy. Pressure doesn't break focus. Lack of preparation does. Conclusion. Pressure is not the enemy. It's the test. And every test exposes whether you trained your mind to stay steady or let chaos decide for you. You can't remove stress from life, but you can master your response to it. You can train your breathing, your focus, your presence until they become unshakable. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Reaction versus regulation. So when the world speeds up, slow down. When emotions rise, breathe. When panic hits, anchor. Your body may feel pressure, but your mind must stay still. That stillness is your strength. That control is your weapon. Pressure doesn't break focus. A lack of preparation does. Say it again until it becomes your reflex. You have a choice. Let chaos control you or control yourself in chaos. The outcome depends on your preparation. Train calm. Train focus. Train composure. Because when the storm hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You rise to your training. You've learned how to stay calm when others break. You build anchors that hold you steady under pressure. Now it's time to go beyond reaction and build alignment. Because true focus isn't only about what you avoid. It's about how your actions, values, and goals move as one. You've mastered composure. Now you'll master direction. Chapter 10. Live in alignment. Focus is not a moment. It's a lifestyle. You can't be focused for 1 hour and scattered for the next 23. You can't claim discipline while living in distraction. True focus is alignment. It's when your actions, words, and habits move in the same direction as your goals. When what you say you want and what you do daily finally match. That's when power appears. That's when consistency replaces chaos. That's when success stops feeling forced and starts feeling natural. Most people never reach that level because they live in contradiction. They talk about goals they don't act on. They say they want success, but they feed distraction. They say they value growth, but they avoid discomfort. They're not bad people. They're misaligned people. And misalignment is what drains energy faster than any obstacle. Alignment is clarity in motion. That's the key. 1. Focus is a lifestyle, not a moment. You can't live one way and expect results from another. If your goals demand excellence, your habits must reflect excellence. If your vision requires consistency, your days must mirror that consistency. Focus isn't something you do. It's who you are becoming. It's in the way you talk, how you plan, how you respond to stress, and what you tolerate. Every small choice is either aligned or misaligned. There is no neutral. When your habits match your goals, you create flow. When they don't, you create friction. That friction is why most people feel stuck. They think they have a motivation problem, but what they really have is an alignment problem. You can't build forward momentum when your life pulls in opposite directions. You can't move with clarity when your behavior contradicts your purpose. Alignment is clarity in motion. 2. The cost of living out of alignment. Let's make it real. Picture someone who says they want success. They talk about ambition, about goals, about discipline, but they spend hours scrolling on social media, comparing themselves to others, complaining about time they never manage. That's not failure. That's misalignment. They say one thing but do another. Their energy leaks through contradiction. You probably felt it yourself. That quiet frustration that comes when your actions don't match your intentions. You plan your goals, but your habits betray them. You say you'll start, but you delay. You promise change, but repeat the same routines. That inner tension is the cost of living out of alignment. It's mental noise disguised as busyness. It's the discomfort of knowing you're capable of more but not choosing it. Here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need alignment. Because alignment creates automatic energy. When your values, focus, and habits all point in the same direction, resistance disappears. You stop forcing effort. You start flowing toward results. Alignment is clarity in motion. Third, building alignment, the integration formula. Alignment doesn't happen by accident. You build it. You build it by checking 3 areas every day: actions, words, and habits. Actions. Look at what you do each day. Do your daily choices lead you closer to your goals or pull you further away? If the answer isn't clear, alignment isn't there. Start auditing your time like it's money. Where you spend it tells the truth about what you value. If your goal is fitness, but you skip workouts, you're out of alignment. If your goal is financial freedom, but you waste hours on impulse spending, you're out of alignment. You can't expect outcomes your actions don't support. Words. Your words are instructions to your mind. If you constantly say, "I'm too busy," "I'm tired," "I'm not ready," you're reinforcing limits. If you speak with clarity and direction, "I'm learning," "I'm improving," "I'm committed," you're programming progress. Speak like the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. Your language should lift you, not limit you. Habits. Habits are alignment on autopilot. What you do repeatedly defines who you become. Small, consistent behaviors carry more power than big, inconsistent ones. Discipline is easier when your habits are aligned with your goals. It's not about forcing effort. It's about removing conflict. That's why habits are the foundation of every high performer. They create alignment through repetition. Check yourself daily. Ask, are my actions, my words, and my habits aligned with who I say I want to be? If the answer is no, correct it immediately. Alignment doesn't demand perfection. It demands honesty. Alignment is clarity in motion. 4. The power of living in alignment. When you live in alignment, you stop chasing balance and start living with purpose. You wake up knowing what to do, not questioning every step. You stop overthinking and start executing. Aligned people don't have to fake motivation. They have momentum. They don't need constant reminders. They have rhythm. Because alignment eliminates resistance. Your energy flows where it should. Your focus stays where it belongs. Your confidence grows because your behavior proves your words. That's when life feels cleaner, lighter, sharper. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting your direction. You stop wasting energy on contradictions and put it all behind one purpose. Alignment doesn't just create results. It creates peace, because there's no longer a war between what you want and what you do. Alignment is clarity in motion. Conclusion. Focus isn't something you switch on. It's something you live. It's the way you move through the world, when everything you do aligns with what you believe. When your words reflect your values, when your actions back your goals, when your habits reinforce your purpose, you become unstoppable. You stop living in fragments and start living in flow. Every choice either strengthens alignment or weakens it. Every moment is a chance to live congruent with your purpose. Don't chase balance. Build alignment. Don't seek motivation. Build consistency. Don't wish for focus. Live it. Because alignment is what connects clarity to results. It's the bridge between intention and execution. It's the path from effort to ease. Alignment is clarity in motion. Say it until you feel it. Live it until it defines you. You have a choice. Talk about your goals or live in alignment with them. Only one leads to mastery. You learn to control distraction, create clarity, make decisions, and stay steady under pressure. You learn to protect your energy, discipline your focus, and live in alignment with purpose. Now, it's time to bring everything together, to connect the entire focus formula into one unstoppable mindset. Final chapter, the Focus Formula Manifesto. Focus is not motivation. Focus is control. Control of your thoughts. Control of your time. Control of your attention. Motivation fades. Emotion changes. But control endures. Control separates the consistent from the chaotic, the producers from the talkers, the builders from the dreamers. You don't stumble into focus, you earn it. Distraction is easy, scrolling is easy, complaining is easy. But focus is forged. Every decision, every boundary, every quiet hour is a deposit into your future. This is the truth most people run from. They want results without restraint. They want clarity without commitment. They want success without silence. But you've learned better. You've done the work. You've stripped away noise, built clarity, strengthened focus, and anchored discipline. You've proven that focus isn't something you wait for. It's something you decide. Now the question is simple. Will you live this or forget this? Main Manifesto. Focus is a choice. Every day you're choosing between control and chaos, between purpose and distraction, between progress and comfort. The world doesn't reward motion, it rewards direction. And direction only exists when focus takes command. You know what steals it. Noise, doubt, indecision. The endless pull of things that don't matter. And you know how to stop it. You eliminate noise. You define clarity. You decide with conviction. You protect your zone. You train your attention. You focus your energy. You build boundaries. You single task with precision. You hold composure under pressure. You live in alignment. That's the formula. Simple, relentless, unforgiving. But it works. You don't need more hours. You need more intention. You don't need more talent. You need more consistency. You don't need more chances. You need to stop wasting the ones you already have. Focus turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. It's not about speed. It's about depth. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Completely. The world rewards the focused. The scattered get left behind. Every day. People who are less talented but more focused outperform those who drift. Because focus compounds. Each hour of deep work today becomes an edge tomorrow. The call to action. You have everything you need. You've seen what happens when you reclaim your mind. Now you must live it. Daily, relentlessly, unapologetically. Stop searching for shortcuts. Stop chasing perfection. Stop waiting for permission. You don't need anyone's approval to take control of your life. You only need the decision to start. Stop scrolling. Stop waiting. Lock in. Decide. Execute. Because your future won't be built in distractions. It will be built in focus, in the quiet hours when no one's watching, in the choices you make when no one's cheering, in the discipline you practice when quitting would be easier. Every boundary, every breath, every repetition is a statement. I'm in control. I decide where my attention goes. I direct my own momentum. That is focus. That is power. That is freedom. Closing declaration. You've learned the steps. You've seen the proof. Now there's nothing left to study, only to live. Eliminate the noise. Create clarity. Decide with conviction, protect your zone, train your attention, channel your energy. Say no with purpose, single task with force. Stay anchored under pressure. Live in alignment. This is your code. This is to your advantage. This is the focus formula. Distraction will always exist, but you don't have to feed it. The world will always compete for your attention, but you decide what wins. So guard your focus, protect your time, direct your energy, because your next breakthrough depends on what you choose to pay attention to right now. You have a choice. Live distracted or live deliberately. Survive the noise or master your focus. The future belongs to those who control their attention. And starting now, that's you. That is the focus formula.